Hello, this is Sonia here with the Pretty Stitch. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time joining me, I'm so happy to have you here. So today we are going to be making a little bandana for a dog. So for this project I am using my J hook or 6mm hook, and the yarn I'm using is actually Peaches and Cream, which I'm not sure if they make Peaches and Cream anymore. I found it in my stash. I'm going to use two different skeins here, a green and a Christmas themed one. So I'm going to show you how that you could make one to fit your dog. I have a husky, so he's considered a medium-sized dog, but obviously dogs come in all different sizes. So I am using an existing bandana I have as a guide, but you could probably use your dog's collar as well if you don't have an existing bandana to fit your particular dog. So let's get started with this project. Okay, so here I have an existing bandana that we wear on our dog all the time when we go on walks, and it's just one of those you know, traditional handkerchief type ones. So I'm going to use this as my guide to make my bandana so that you can you know, fit this for your dog. So if you already have an existing one, then you can do this. So here we go. So I've already made my chain here that measures across the front of it here. So I actually have 36 chains. Okay, so what I did next is, so I have my 36 chains here. I put a stitch marker. I just used a safety pin here because I always lose stitch markers. And so what I did is I created the first part of the tie. So there's going to be two ties, you know, to tie around my dog's neck. And I have a husky and he is very floofy. So I need a long enough tie so that I can, you know, tie this around his neck comfortably. So it's easy for me to do. And what we like to do is we have, see, here's our handkerchief. It's tied. And we always leave it tied and we just slide it over his head. So I'll probably do the same with this. So I just wanted to make sure I had a long enough chain for that. And this is 60 chains here. So this is the first tie. Obviously we're going to need two, but we're only going to do the first one first to start off with our project. And then we will do the other one. So I have, counting from my stitch marker, so there's 36 here, and then after that I have 60 chains here. So now, and I just used my already existing bandana as a guide, kind of figuring out, you know, we're gonna have to, you know, tie it on the neck, and then I'm gonna tie it in a bow. So I just wanted to give myself a long enough chain here. So now we're going to get started with the actual stitching of the bandana. Okay, so we have our chain here to begin our bandana. So we're going to start off with the one tie. So I'm just going to, I like to make like little decorative ends. It's just a personal preference. But if you don't want to do that, then you just will slip stitch all the way across until you get to your stitch marker there. But I'm going to create a little bobble on the end. Alright, so in our fourth chain from our hook, so we're going to do a yarn over first. So we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. We're going to insert our hook, and you can work in your chain however you like. Pull up a loop. I'm going to yarn over, pull through one or two loops, I'm sorry. I'm going to yarn over again, go right back in that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. And we'll do it one more time. Yarn over, go right back in, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through two. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through all four of those loops just to create my little bobble. And then I'm just going to continue to slip stitch across my chain until I get to my stitch marker. And that's going to be the bandana part. So we're just working on the ties here, and I like to slip stitch in the ties just to create, it's just sturdier and I think it looks nicer than just a plain chain. And they're crocheted right on, so then you don't have to worry about them coming off. I mean, if your dog's a chewer, you might want to be careful with that. But my dog, he chews on things, but with his bandana, like he knows when we wear bandanas, we go on walkies, so he's pretty good. Alright, so I'm going to keep going here, slip stitching across my chain. Okay, so I've slip stitched across my first tie here. I'm now to my stitch marker, so I'm going to pop that out. I don't need it anymore. And now we are going to single crochet across. So again, you can work on your chain however you like. So I will have 36 single crochets because this is going to be the actual bandana part. So I will have 36 stitches. And this is row 1, including the tie here. And it doesn't matter how many, with this pattern, you know, your chain for your bandana can be any amount, it's fine. It doesn't need to be an odd amount, and even, it's completely fine. Alright, so I'm going to keep going here, working across, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I got to the end of my row, but we still need to work the other tie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 60 again, because this is how much I chained for my first tie, and I'm going to do the same thing as I did for this one. I'm going to create the little bobble, and I'm just going to slip stitch across, and then I will be done row 1. So I'm going to get going here, working my chain and finishing up my tie, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I completed row 1. I've got my second tie, so here's my other one. So now we're all set. So let's begin row 2. So row 2, we're just going to single crochet across. So I'm going to work 36 single crochet because that's how long my bandana is. So whatever number you have, just going to work my 36. So we don't need to work in the ties anymore. They are done. I'm going to keep going here, working my 36 single crochet, and I will meet you back for the end of row 2. Alright, so here I have my 36 single crochet, so let's get ready for row 3. I'm going to be adding another color, so that's why I'm holding on to it. So for row 3, we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. I'm going to be using the green as like border stitches, and then adding the multicolored, Christmas colored one here. Actually working out of both ends of the skein for the green for my border, so I think it's gonna work. We'll see. Alright, so let's work a half double crochet in that first stitch there, and half double crochet in the second. So I'm gonna have this as my right side, and I'm gonna try to carry colors here. I mean, you can just use this all in one color, it's completely fine. I always have to be a little extra with things. Alright, so I'm just going to let that green chill out, hang out, and I'm just going to continue to half double crochet across. And again, I will have my 36 stitches. And then my last 2 stitches, I'm going to switch to the green. Okay, so here we go, row 3 with my extra adding my border stitch. Again, you don't have to do that, you can just stitch all the way across. Alright, so let's begin row 4, and this row will be the repeat for most of the pattern. So we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and we're going to work in this half double crochet, but we're actually going to work in it would be technically the third loop, because normally you work in here, and usually when you do third loop you work in the round, but we're going to do it in rows. I did a little swatch of this and I just thought it was really fun. Now you don't have to do this, you can just do it in regular stitching half double crochet, but again, I like to be extra. So what I mean is, so you see these are the regular stitches here, so this would be considered the front loop, the back loop here, but we have this loop here that's hanging out with half double crochet. Sorry, I bumped the camera. So we're gonna stitch in there, and I think it looks nice in rows too. So right there in that stitch, I'm gonna insert my hook in that loop and work my half double crochet, and I'm gonna do that in the next one. And this is considered my wrong side, so I'm going to pick up my other color here. Again, you do not have to do this. It might backfire, it might not work. We'll see. Okay, so now we are going to do a decrease stitch. So to do that, we're just going to insert our hook into that loop, insert our hook into the next loop. So we have 4 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2 of them, and then yarn over, pull through 3. And I'm just going to continue to stitch across. So I'm going to work in that 3rd loop, and I'm just going to continue working in that 3rd loop, half double crochet until I get to my last 4 stitches. And we're going to decrease again. So I'm going to keep going here, just working up till the end of this row, and I will meet you back. Okay, so I'm almost to the end of row 4. I have 4 stitches left, so we're going to decrease again. So we're going to yarn over into that 3rd loop. So we're putting our hook in that 3rd loop, and then we're going to go into the next one, and we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining. Actually, I want to finish that off with the green, so let me just drop that guy. Again, you don't have to be this extra. It might be a train wreck. We'll see. And then I have 2 stitches left, and I'm just working in those 2 stitches to complete row 4. Now that 3rd loop can kind of hide in that last stitch. So a good way, if you look at it here, so you can see the front loop, the back loop, and then you turn it, and it's right there. Just gets a little crunched down. And then row 4 is complete. So you have decreased 2 times. So I have 34 stitches. I started off with 36, now I have 34. You will probably have a different amount unless you're making one the same size as mine. Again, I have a medium sized dog, and he would be on the larger size of medium. I know some people see Huskies and think they're large dogs, but in the dog categories, he's actually considered medium, and he weighs about 54 pounds, but he does have a very floofy neck. So if you have a medium-sized dog, but you have a dog with shorter fur, then yours might, need to be a little bit smaller. It just depends on the dog you have. Okay, so let's get ready for row 5. We're going to chain 1 and turn our work. And we are going to just repeat row 4. So working in that 3rd loop, working our half double crochet, and working in the 2nd stitch. And again, I'm being my extra self here. And now we are going to work our decrease. And we're just going to continue across our row until we have 4 stitches and do the decrease again, and then work your final 2. So as I said before, we're going to repeat row 4 until we have a certain amount of stitches left. I'm not quite sure, this is my prototype that I am making. I have this idea in my mind, and I'm trying to see if it's going to work. So you get to witness this. All right, I'm going to keep going, and I will let you know how many rows to work. Okay, so I have worked until I have 6 stitches left. So you're going to want to work till you have 6 stitches. So I have 6. But I did try this on my dog to see how the fit was looking, and it looks so super cute. So I'm really excited to finish this one. He looks so handsome. So let's keep going here. So we're going to chain 1 and turn our work. So you're just going to want to work till you have your 6 stitches, and I'm going to work in that 3rd loop, that half double crochet like we've been doing. I'm going to do the 2nd one, and I'm going to not switch to my Christmassy colors here. I'm just going to keep going with this green. So we're going to do a decrease in the next 2. So I worked my decrease, and then I'm going to work my last 2 stitches. So I will have 5 stitches. So I said before, if you have a different number, that's fine. Just keep working until you have your 6 stitches, and then you'll work this decrease. So now we will have 1 more row to go to finish up our bandana here. So I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work. And so now we're going to do a single crochet decrease. I'm still going to work in that loop. I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. So I'm going to insert in that first loop there of that first stitch, insert in the next. So I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2, and 1 single crochet decrease has been worked. Now I'm going to work half double crochet in that 3rd loop like we've been doing, and we're going to decrease 1 more time the single crochet. So that 3rd loop there, pull through the 2, and then pull through the 2, and then you can cut your yarn. And I can cut all my ends here since I've got my border thing going. I think it actually turned out pretty well. So sometimes my ideas work, sometimes they don't. But obviously this is the wrong side because you can see how I carried my colors, but we flip it over, and this is reversible, so it's fine. So you can see how we have the nice border around. But again, you can make this all in one color. It would still look very, very nice. And so then what you need to do to finish this guy up is you'll need to weave in your ends. So as you noticed here for the strap, so we kind of have this little gap here, right here, and then you don't really have it there. So what I suggest, I'm just going to show you a little trick with the finishing. So here is my yarn needle. I am going to poke my yarn needle in this first stitch here. I'm going to take this tail, thread that through, pull that guy, and see how that instantly makes it look better. So then also what you can do to keep improving on that is, let's go back in through there. I'm going to insert my hook here. I'm going to then pull this down and go right back through. Now you don't have to get this crazy if you don't want to. You can just weave in the end and, you know, but I'm kind of a perfectionist. So now you can see that side and this side, how it's not exactly the same, but it definitely looks a lot better. And then I'll just continue to weave in this end. I'll probably thread it through this other side. And then I need, of course, to weave in the remaining ends and block this if I need to. And then it's all set for wearing around my dog. And my ties were just perfect. Like I said, I did try this on my dog just to make sure that this was going to work. And what I did is, because my dog's not very patient, so I actually tied it first and then just slid it over his head while he was getting a treat, and it worked out fine. But I hope you enjoyed this project, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.